Okay. Hello, my name is Johnny Gray. I'm the Digital Services Librarian, and I'm going to talk about EBSCOhost. So, EBSCOhost is one of our big databases, and it actually has 68 smaller databases inside of it that some of them are very specific, and we'll actually look at them. So, first, I want to just make sure that you know how to access it. So, here's the Tribble Library's webpage. You can access it through cnu.edu/library, library.cnu.edu, or go through CNU's main page. I'm going to click on Resources and Services. You can access it by clicking on our database list here, A to Z, and looking for E for EBSCO, or you can go to Scholarly Articles tab, and these are our most popular databases. Our most popular databases seem to be JSTOR, ProQuest, and EBSCOhost, and from what we found out from students, their go-to database is JSTOR, which seems to mystify us because it's not always the best option. My go-to is ProQuest and then EBSCOhost because they have so much under the hood, so many ways to search, and they're just full of really good scholarly material. If you notice also on here, there is the psychology databases by APA via EBSCO. We used to have APA PsycNet as its own sort of entity, but now we have the APA databases as part of EBSCO. So I'm going to click on this and go. And by default, it takes you to all the list of databases that we have in EBSCO, and it doesn't select all of them. It looks like it does, but some of them it leaves out. One of the biggest things I try to convey when I talk about using EBSCOhost is to concentrate on maybe one or two databases and not search all of them unless you feel like you don't know where to start. Because there's some really specific databases and you may not want to search in them. Like here's social gerontology. If I was searching for something about pollution, that's not a good choice. Academic Search Complete is awesome. It's one of my favorites. America History and Life with full text. There's APA databases. We have Psych Articles, Psych Extra, Psych Info, Psych Tests. Some of them are kind of self-explanatory. Those are the big APA ones. There's the Book Review Digest. Business Source Complete we love this one. That's one of our favorites. Communication and Mass Media Complete. That one is great for comm studies. It's kind of the go-to thing. I've heard a lot of professors really point their students there. Our ebook collection. There's let's see, ERIC, which is a popular educational database. It's a free one, but it's also part of this where you can actually look at them and see if the items are full text. Where's some other ones? We have Library Information Science and Technology Abstracts and the other library literature database. Masterfile Premier is very good. It's more a general thing for public libraries, but it can give you really good items. The reference ebook collection is great. It covers a lot of stuff, everything from cooking, parenting. I mean, it's a bunch of stuff. Let's see. MLA International Bibliography is popular. Newspaper Source Complete, newspaper articles around the country. Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection is separate from the APA, but it has really good non-APA content. I mean, it's over 400 journals, so it's a very good alternative to the APA databases. And if you're doing any type of psychology research, you got to use this one as well. Religion Philosophy collection, the Rilum abstracts of music, Social Index, and Women's Studies International has also been very good for helping students, with their topics. So I'm going to go back to the top. I'm just going to go ahead and do the default, which ones are selected, and show you why you really shouldn't do that. So here we have search options, but if you look, we have Alt Health Watch options. We have APA Psych Extra, APA Psych Info. The thing is, if you were to change, let's say I want population group human, I'm looking for peer-reviewed journals and age groups, maybe young adulthood. So you apply that, but it's only applying to this database, so you see your results, and they're all mixed up. So it's not really helping you. It's kind of, you think it's going to help, it doesn't. You really need to go into the individual databases. But if I was looking for something very general, I'm not really worried about what I find. So let's go ahead and search for fragility, but I want anti-fragility. Kind of a newer concept that's being kind of a philosophy that's been talked about. Let it search. There we go. We got 121 results, and looking at the left-hand side is where you want to really concentrate. And it looks like it kept my limiters for, which I'm going to get rid of these. I don't think it's really going to have much of an impact because this has absolutely nothing to do with psychology. Okay, yeah, 121, it still was the same. Notice the publication dates. It looks like around 2009 the term was coined. I can kind of guess that. I can limit this to scholarly peer-reviewed journals. I usually don't for linked full text because as a good researcher, you go where the research takes you. You don't stop where you don't have access to it unless you don't have time. So anything you see with the journal finder link underneath of it, just because it's not in this database full text does not mean we don't have it or that you can't get it through interlibrary loan, which I highly recommend going after the research, not just finding what's in front of you. Here we have all the source types. We have some magazines, news, working papers. The subject under here we have related things, and I always say show more. So here, Nassim Taleb is the one who kind of coined the term. There's the book Anti-Fragile. We can look at decentralization in government, European Union, organizational resilience, philosophy of economics, Muammar Gaddafi, system downtime. So we have rather things that are here to look at. If you look, there's something called the hit count. That's showing you how many articles are being pulled up on that topic. And I usually direct people to look at this because you usually want to go where the information, where you can find information, not where you can't find information. So if I was looking for something very obscure, maybe pedagogy and anti-fragility, it looks like there's not much out there in this database. Only one item comes up. Maybe it's the phrase, maybe it's we should be thinking about something else. May not be the best topic to start off. You might want to start a little bit broader. So let's look at some of these results. Oh, down here are the databases. You can see the breakdown for databases. So if I wanted to pick just one database, I might want to see which one has the most content for this topic. And it looks like Academic Search Complete does, as well as Business Source Complete, which surprises me. I can just choose these databases to look in and maybe add some other words in my search string, such as anti-fragility and economy, or anti-fragility and health. So let's look at our results. So we get some good results. That is a design criterion for modeling dynamic systems. Sounds a little technical. Managerial operation, supply chain. This one, maybe this is one that I'm like, well, it's in systems research and behavioral science, 2020, 37.6, 10 pages, got the abstract there. And it talks about corporate culture. Maybe I want to look at this. Let's look at this closer. Here I get some keywords. If I like these keywords, I might want to think about introducing them to my search string up here. Got the abstract. The abstract is a tool for you to kind of read the summary of what the article's about and move on. If it doesn't apply to what you research or what you're looking for, move on. It's a time saver. Here we have the article, and looks like we don't have it in this database. So what do? First thing is see if we have it in Journal Finder. You can click on the Journal Finder link, and it looks like we have it somewhere. Let's click and see where it's at. So we're looking for the 2020, November 2020. It looks like we have it in Wiley database, EBSCO Business Source Complete. but for some reason it's not pulling it up. In ProQuest, we don't. It ends there. So if I click here, it should take me into the Wiley database, and it might take me directly to the article. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Hey, it took me right into it. That's great. So here we have, there's the PDF, and there's the whole thing. We got some equations. So I could download the PDF. Let's see if I click on share. I can then copy it, email it to myself. But this is the Wiley database. It's a separate thing. This is also, it's open access, Creative Commons, and yeah, this is the article. So I could get that and say, hey, wasn't in this database, but it did point me to where it is. A lot of people fail to understand that databases act as an index. So just because the information isn't in there doesn't mean it can be searched even though it's not full text. It can be just abstracts. A lot of students kind of have trouble kind of putting their head around that. Why isn't it full text? Why are they even showing it to me? Well, a lot of database companies want to make money, and you pay for content, and they can't always get some content, and sometimes we don't have a choice in what we have access to. If we for some reason did not have this in another database, feel free to use interlibrary loan and request this. So you can put in your ID number, log in, and in EBSCOhost as well as ProQuest, it will actually fill out the form for you. All the information you need. It even gives you the ISSN, which is like the ISBN for periodicals. Give it the date you need it by. I'm going to be generous and say I need it by the end of June. My status, department, and then you say submit, and it goes to Jesse, and he figures out where we can get it from. And with periodicals, we get a digital copy, and you just access it through your account, your interlibrary loan account, and you'll get an email when to do that. Very easy to just keep requesting stuff. First thing is make sure we don't have it, because that kind of delays things. Let's go back. Here's one. The first one, let's go back down here. Okay. Evaluating organizational anti-fragility via fuzzy logic. So maybe as I'm thinking, maybe I do want to concentrate on anti-fragility and dynamics of organizations and just the concept in general. It's an academic journal. These little icons help me to figure that out. I'm going to click on this. If I'm not completely positive about what this is about, this is a safety paper, fuzzy logic, robust control. A lot of this is over my head. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. But let's say I really want this. It says the concept of anti-fragility was developed by Taleb in socioeconomic context, not in industrial production. It looks like they're going to try to apply it. So maybe I want this. Here's the full text. I could click on it, download it, which I highly suggest saving all your research until you're done. But if you look over here to the right-hand side, you could save it to Google Drive. You could add it to your research folder, and I'll tell you more about that. You could print it, email it, save it, cite, and maybe whatever citation style you prefer. I usually go to APA. It's usually my go-to. And different ones do different things. Even this morning when I was doing a search, it did not give me a DOI address, the digital object identifier, and here it does, even though the other one had that. So you kind of have to double check. And they didn't used to have this note here, but it says review the instructions at EBSCO Connect and make any necessary changes before using. Pay special attention to personal names, capitalization, and dates. Yes, and I always tell students, yes, it's been formatted for you, but you got to double check because things change, and this database is not a citation machine. The really nice thing is if you have a citation program like EndNote or RefWorks, those are the two that I'm familiar with, you can actually export the data into that. And here's export, and you got all these different ways you can export it. Never heard of Noodle Tools. Create a note and permalink. If you are a professor and you are sharing resources with your class, we prefer you use the permalink because A, it doesn't change, B, the one at the top is not the one that gets you back into the database. We don't know where this goes. It will say you have to log in and it doesn't go back to the article. And when students click on it, it actually the database registers it as a search or a hit, and we see that it's being used, and we do see those statistics, and it does help out if we determine we need to get rid of a database or keep a database. So that's kind of important. We prefer you not download the article and upload it to Scholar because Scholar, yeah, you can upload stuff, but we really like to see the usage in our databases. You download it, that's one access, but if you have 35 students accessing it, that's 35 hits in our database. That kind of helps us see our database usage and how important certain ones are. Now, with the add to folder, if you look up here, you can actually create a free account in most databases to save your research. And I'm going to log in with Google. There's me. And my password. Let it do its thing. Oh, this happened earlier today. Let's just go back. They may be having a problem today, but what happens is it will save your search, save your information that you've been searching for, and you can sign up for RSS feeds in the form of weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly notifications of when new articles are being published in a certain subject. So if you specialize in, I don't know, Hitchcock and classical theory, or classical studies or mythology, if you want to get notified of when people are writing about that, that's the best way to do it. Find the database you like, get notifications. Some of the librarians here actually do that just so they can stay on top of certain research that professors are doing so they can be prepared and we can stay informed of things. So it's a great service, completely free. And where if you can, one of the cool features are if you are a big note taker and you like making notes to yourself, you can actually create notes on each article saying, this is a similar article, I really need to use this, definitely cite or whatever, and it will save your notes with your articles, which is very, very cool. That other databases really don't do that, so that's something to definitely think about. Let me go back. Go back to, let's go to this one. So maybe my results list, if I go back here, I found 121, but maybe this is exactly what I'm looking for. EBSCOhost has this thing called Find Similar Results, and it says Smart Text Searching. Let me show you what it does. Sometimes it does an okay job, sometimes it goes, yeah, this is what it does. It takes the whole abstract and title and throws it into a search box, and then so all it's looking for are the words, which isn't very, very complicated or special. So now my results are 82,000, but I'm going to get stuff about kitchen sinks. I'm going to get stuff about, I don't know, the taste of Dr. Pepper, everything under the sun. Not very helpful. And in fact, the further you go down, you'll see the relevance of how pertinent these articles are. It disappears. If I go to page, 10, they're not even going to be about anti-fragility. They're probably going to be about something else. But it looks like these are pretty good. Concept of anti-fragility, risk analysis, design criterion, philosophy anti-fragility as a mathematical idea. Here's one in, looks like Italian, yeah, Genoa, Italy. Tinkering in biology, tutorials on anti-fragility to downtime. And this is doing a relevance sort. And relevance sort, the word relevance should really make you think, how does this know what's relevant to me? only way a database knows what's relevant to you is the words you put into it. You may have something else in the back of your head, but you need to let the database know what's relevant. And the relevant sort, typically it defaults to the number of hits of words that are in the search and goes into the abstract. Some of them go a little bit deeper into the actual text of the article, but most of the time it's just the abstract that's being looked at. And there's different types of indexing. Sometimes articles are indexed by their author, not very well. Sometimes they're indexed by a system, usually better. So you get all types of indexing, and sometimes you'll see that when you go into an article like this one. You'll see, nope, I'm gonna click on new search since it seems to be having hiccups. I did this morning. So let's go something else. Let's go into one of our databases. Choose databases. I'm going to deselect all, and I just want to go into Psych articles. Okay. So here, if I go to advanced search, I get a lot of stuff I can look at. So if I was specialized, if I was looking for stuff in psychology, we have classification codes, we have population group, whether you're looking for human or animal, male or female, comparative psychology. Tests, if you want to search in tests and measures, maybe you're looking for a Likert scale of depression or something. Here we have publishers. Here we have age groups. Maybe you're doing something on middle age, which happens to be my category. I don't consider myself middle age, but it says it here. Methodology, empirical studies are always popular, longitudinal studies. Lit reviews are always amazing because they point you to the directions of where the research is going. A document type, a lot of times you don't want to, there's an obituary, poetry, we don't want any of that stuff. We'll just leave it open. So I'll do middle age, we'll do male, and let's do a topic, education, inequity. That sounds like a good term. Notice it had predictive text. You type in something, it tries to figure out, based on the stuff that's been indexed, what's going to pop up. And this only pulled up one article. And whenever I find one article, I'm like, well, my search string wasn't the best. What I usually do is I find at least one article and see how it's been indexed or what it contains. So for this one, we have full text. This is job complex. Oh, this is really having a issue today. And once in a while, the databases will act weird. What I usually do is I either switch to a new browser or I wait. And for some reason, EBSCO today is really, ever since I tried to, it looks like I haven't, let's see, my account. Let's see if I did log in. No. Let's go back. Since it's not cooperating, I just wanted to show you some of the advanced search features for specific databases. So if I was to choose another one, I'm going to unselect that. Academic search complete, again, that's one of my favorites. And let's see what advanced search options we have here. Let's see, periodical type, publication type, any images, PDF full text, scholarly reviewed. Let's look at my search history. Oh, okay. So this is what you would normally see in your, if you're just in one session, you can do it here, or you can have it in your account where it saves this, so it's always there. So two things I search for. I have searched for anti-fragility, and I search for education inequality. Maybe I really want to be notified when these things are updated. If you click on the little orange button and it doesn't seem like it's very intuitive, it gives you can sign up for email alerts and put your email in there, how often the articles are published, the frequency. Most people like once a week, unless it's something you're really actively doing. And you can choose the different results. There's also an RSS feed link there. Save the alert. And I believe if you sign up for them and you don't want them anymore, there's an unsubscribe link at the bottom, because I know sometimes you're like, why am I getting these emails? So they're not trying to spam you, they're just doing what you told them to do. Get off of this, cancel alert. And each search term, I can do that. It tells you what the limiters are. Here I have age groups, so I can get really specific, and it saves all that information. And if you have an account and you've signed in, you can rerun your search to update it for the latest results. And I can also edit my search here. Education inequality. I can cancel that. View details, tells me where it's being searched, and I can rerun it if I need to. Education inequality, I believe this searched everything in EBSCO. No, it searched academic search complete because I happen to be in that. And this pulled up over 2,000 results. So this was better. And I love how EBSCO pops out charts and figures, because that usually implies an empirical study or a really good review of stats and data that's out there. But anyway, that's it. That's all we have time